Are you living an abundant life? Do you know where life is headed? Do you feel confused? Or are you just running around trying to do everything at like, hey, La Shinkita, are you just running around trying to do everything like a chicken with your head cut off? And you're just super confused? Or are you another person? Are you always in situations that you're forgetting and then you're like, ooh, I should have did that. Oh man, I'm a little behind on that. Oh, I'll get back to it. Or you get back to it. Well, if you are any of those three people, this is the live for you. I have a special guest. She is amazing. Her name is Michelle Thomas. She is an author, a speaker, an abundant life coach. And she's going to be dropping some real nuggets about changing your mind and changing your perspective. So this is all about what we need to be entrepreneurs and business. So let me get her in here. Can meet her and really get your pen and paper out because she's about to drop those nuggets. Hey, hey Michelle, how
Hi
you doing?
everyone, how are you doing?
Doing well.
Hey.
Hey, drop your camera a little. I just want to make sure they see all of your beautiful face. There
Okay,
we go. Girl, you're
let's
looking
see.
cute.
Go a little bit lower. Okay.
Yes, that's good. So again, this is Michelle Thomas. She is an author, a speaker, an abundant life coach. She has one of the most phenomenal testimonies I have heard, or just overcoming, taking herself to a whole new level. I don't even want to talk about the story because I may start crying because it's just
Yeah.
profound that how she took this scenario and totally started life coaching people about being accountable, changing their mind, changing their perspective on something that happened to her. So I'm going to turn it over to her and hopefully she'll give us a little snippet of what I just about her testimony and why she became a life coach to begin with.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. Like she said, I am a life coach. I've experienced a lot of hard hits in life. And so I'm one of these people, I'm like, it happened to me. I don't want to stay here. Okay.
Right.
So I've learned from mistakes. I've watched other people's mistakes. I've learned from it. I've taken wise counsel. I'm one of these people, like I'm ready to go from A to Z. Okay. But I understand there's a process and I've learned to respect the process. And so one of the things I think for me tonight, I really want to talk about changing your mind.
Yes.
Because a lot of times I'm a believer. And so you hear a lot of times in church, you know, people blame the devil for things. And I'm like, it's
Right.
not always the devil, right? Sometimes it's our perspective on things. Sometimes it's exactly what we prayed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's time that we do have to change our mind, change our perspective. And so today, I can't give you everything because I'm a life coach and some things take a little bit longer to unpeel that I just can't do in a live video. It is what it is, right?
But you can drop those nuggets
But
today
I'm
and
going to
make
drop
it,
some nuggets
and we'll make sure
tonight.
they are liking and following you so they can
Yes,
stay up
yes.
and get these nuggets.
Absolutely. So one of the first thing I want to talk about is like changing your mind. All right. And that is a process. It really does take some time, but I'm going to give you 3 things today that can really help you change your mind. Okay. The first thing you need to do is be teachable, right? You
Yes.
cannot change your mind, change your situation or circumstance if you think you know everything. You think you know how this life is going to go for you. You know, you are not the author and the finisher of your faith. Okay. So you don't know that. So you don't know everything. So I always tell people you got to be teachable. There's a lesson in everything. Even if
Right.
you didn't cause the pain, right? You didn't cause the trauma, you're experiencing it. What are you learning here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning. I want to get out of here. Yes. Yes. Right.
Lesson
That's the
learned.
first thing you say. Like, look, I'm done. I'm ready to go. But this is one of those times where it's just like, okay, Lord, I'm here. What am I here for? Or who am I here for? Right? Because there are different reasons why we experience things. Sometimes it has nothing to do with us. And sometimes, you know, it's almost like collateral damage sometimes, but it's only your perspective on how you look at it, right? You didn't cause this pain. You didn't cause this trauma. It's happening to you. You're hurting. You're in pain. But what's the lesson here? What is something that I can take from this? Because I hate to be the victim. I'm the victor in every situation. I am victorious in all these things. So I never like to take, well, I'm the victim. Woe is me. Bad things always happen to me. Why me? Oh Lord, why? And I'm like, there might be a time and place to ask those questions, and you should ask those questions, but I would never want you to ask those questions with a defeated mindset, right? So once you ask the why, right, you begin to get those answers of why this happened. You might be able to find out why this person mistreated you. And that would change your whole perspective right then and there. Why were they behaving like this? Why were they so ugly? You know, and that's when the grace begins to come in, right? You have more grace once you understand what's going on in someone's life, right? And then you find out, okay, who did I come in contact with this? You know, like, who did I meet? Like, you're going through this hard time. Who are some of the people that you met in the process? What if they have answers right now to what you're experiencing? What if they have the answers? But if you're just walking and just blowing through your things with anger and resentment and all the stress, you can miss some very important people in your life. And I truly believe God sends people into your life for a reason, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes they're here to teach you a lesson, right?
It's to teach you or to test you. Yes.
Yes.
It could be the teacher test.
Exactly. They could be there to teach you something new or introduce you to someone, because there's always divine connections, and it's your perspective on how you view people. Can you just write them off? That's your decision. That's your choice, right? But then you start crying out and praying all over again, and you like, God is like, I sent them to you.
I
you
did my
dismissed them, right?
Right. But I like the way you're talking about the teachable, because we do sometimes go into things that we're just like, I don't have time for this. So I got to keep it moving. So we just cut off people. And I mean, there's a time to let go to grow, but sometimes we have to be in those growing moments so we can actually grow.
Exactly.
And sometimes we're frustrated at people because we see it in ourselves. You know, and that's also a teachable moment. So I think that first point we were saying about being teachable is so profound on so many different levels. But but being teachable is hard. We got to shut our mouths and absorb it.
Yes, that's where the humility comes in. You know, we have to humble ourselves and just realize, hey, we don't know everything, and we don't know how this is going to turn out. I'd say the second thing you have to do. So the first is you have to be teachable. The second thing, I always say, go back to your prayers, right? Go back to your prayers. What did you pray?
There you go.
And I know, sometimes when we're in like our best place spiritually, when things are just going great, the clouds are in the sky, we always pray those prayers, Lord, use me. Right?
And then when things are bad, we're like, don't talk to me. Don't leave me alone. But that's deep. You're talking about our prayers.
Go back to your prayers.
Because sometimes in situations I feel, and Susan agrees, she gave us the thumbs up. And so that, Lash and Keita said, go back to our prayers, repeating what you said. And I think that's so profound. And people confuse their complaining with prayers. Have you seen that too?
I've been there, done that.
To God, and I'm like, but that ain't really, you telling God what you did. That ain't the same. So do you see that with your clients or people you talk to, that they confuse complaining and prayers, and then they get it all mixed up?
Yes, absolutely. And I always say, go back to your why. Why did you pray that? And a lot of times when we do pray, like, we're in the purest place in our life. Right? So we feel like we're in a great place. Our heart is right. And you can see things clearly. When there's not a lot of muck in your life and things are going well, you can see life differently. You can see the need. And you'd say, Lord, if I could just XYZ. Okay?
And 1, 2, 3.
And then it happens just like that. And then all of a sudden, he starts listening and moving and things start happening, and then you're asking why. If it came down to you wanting to change jobs, you wanted to help children, or you wanted to help marriages, or you wanted to heal people, right? Well, if you're not doing that right now, something has to happen to get you to where you want to be, right?
Right.
And I've watched people go through this constantly, right? God will give us, he is so merciful. Lots of grace, lots of time, all right? You've been praying this thing for a while now, and God is starting to move. He's starting to act, but you're refusing to leave your job. You're refusing to change positions. You're refusing to go back to school. You're refusing to move to a new town. You are refusing to move. So I'm like, so how can God answer your prayers if you're refusing to move?
Girl, that
How's he
happened to
gonna give
me.
you
I
what
ain't
you're
gonna
asking
lie.
for?
I did that. So you got me.
Yes, we've all been there. If you a believer, you've been there.
Okay. I'm all took the arrow. It's okay. I'm all right.
Yes. You've been praying for, and I've been there myself. I'm like, man, this might require me to move. This might require me to be uncomfortable. And I don't want to be uncomfortable. I want my prayers answered, but I don't want anything to change. And I'm like, that's kind of ridiculous when you think about it. Now that when you say it out loud, it's kind of ridiculous, but we do it, right? It's part of that process.
Deep, because I'm like, when I was doing it, I wasn't thinking like that. But you've actually audibly put it out there that I was kind of ridiculous. It's like, oh, well, God set me free. I want to be an entrepreneur. And then I was staying at a job, and God's like, all right, well, here's the door. Okay, you didn't skip 4 doors. So let me go ahead and force you through the door.
Yes.
And then I was like, well, what happened? God, why would this happen to me? He's like, because these are the doors I opened for you. And that's what you prayed for. But why weren't you going for what you prayed for?
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's like, oh man, it's like, you got me.
It
That's
sounds crazy, right, but we do it, right?
Oh, yes.
Relationships, you're like, man, God, I want to have my kids to do this. I want to have this kind of marriage or these kind of friends. And it's just like, things are required. They're required. And it's happening. Your finances, if you want to make more money, okay, I'm giving you an opportunity to do that. All right. We've been crying out about our health. We want to lose some weight. Hey, we need to change. We want to get off this medication. Okay. But that might require something, and it will require something. And sometimes we want just the laying of the hands and a quick prayer. And I'm like, that,
it don't work like that.
Yeah.
Because like you said, if we prayed for it, that means we were going through something.
Yeah.
So it's painful. So to let that stuff go, it is painful sometimes because we don't want to give it up.
Right. But we are crying for change.
Yes. I know. And this is just really, I'm like, let me lean back because that's a lot.
We do it.
We do it all the time, but you're putting in actual words. This is the process that we don't think about. We're doing the actions of like, well, why is God doing this to me? He's given us sometimes what we prayed for, what we asked for, or what we needed to do. But we're walking on past the opportunity because we probably aren't being teachable. Like you were back that first one. Right. So if you ain't teachable, you're not open for the blessing.
You're not, and if you forgot what you prayed, you're going to forget where you're going. Right.
Ooh.
So we don't,
if y'all didn't hear that, if y'all didn't hear that, and we got Jubilee on here too.
Hey, Jubilee. Hey, yes, it's true. Ooh. We don't even know. We're just being busy. We're just getting up in the morning, doing what we know to do. But we don't even know where we're going. We don't know what path we're taking because we forgot the why, and sometimes we have to remember that. We have to remember what we prayed. We have to remember why we prayed it. We got to remember that there's a reason behind it. What's the reason? Who are these people? And for me, there were some hard things I have to do to get up and do a live video or get up and get in front of people. I am like a behind the scenes person, right? But God is saying, listen, I'm calling you out for some people that need what you're about to say. They need to hear you. They need to see you. You can't operate the same way. You're going to have to do it. And these people are waiting for you.
Yes.
Right? People have what you need and they are waiting. They're praying.
And then my
They're
thing is,
waiting.
we're the answer to that prayer. But if
Yeah.
we're not following and walking what we're supposed to, other people are being hindered. And I
Yes.
always think about, like you said, the live, but you live now, girl. So
Yes, I'm
you
doing it.
live. But I
Yes.
think about it because it's like sometimes we are going to be held accountable for not doing what we were called and supposed to be doing. That's
Right.
why I always tell people, if it's on your heart and you can't stop thinking about it and it's on your mind, it's because you're meant to do it. And the lives you're going to impact along the way, those people are ready and waiting. So
Exactly.
you got to do your part because they're needing what you have, or you
Yes.
wouldn't be waking up every day thinking I got to do this. So you're talking
Exactly.
about be teachable.
Be
Yeah, go back to
teachable.
what you prayed for. We
Remember what
sound
you
basic, but this
prayed.
got a little deep for me quick. So I don't know.
Okay. Yes. And now I'm gonna give you the last one. And this is I think this could be the hardest one. I don't know. That's why I saved it for last. Okay. We don't like hearing this one. We have to give it time. Right? We have to give it time. Because sometimes we want that instantaneous prayer. And I'm a habitual offender of a suddenly prayer. Okay. I'm like, suddenly, God, do it suddenly, right?
A miracle, a miraculous.
We want a miracle to happen. We want this instantaneous thing. And God was just speaking to me like, what in your life has been instantaneous? Your hair don't grow that way. Come on.
Babies don't come out as quick as you want them to
No,
come
they
out.
don't.
They don't do everything instantly
Instantaneously.
like you want them to do.
Nothing is done instantaneously. Okay? Like things do take time. And there's a reason why they take time. And if we're being teachable, we can learn the steps, right? In the process of time, you know? And I think it's so difficult to give God time to move. You know, we have to learn how to take him out of this box. I'm actually going to drop another video tomorrow about this, like how we micromanage God, right? Like we say the prayers and then we have him in a box on how he needs to do it, right? What he needs to do for other people to work in our lives. Like we want to manage every single thing. And I'm just like, we have to let God use time. It does work. Yes, time matters.
My pastor used to say when I grew up, and hi, Norda Scott, because we got someone on there, but he said, let God be God.
Yes.
And I was like, what does that mean? I was like 4, but now I'm older. I'm like, man, I wasn't letting him do his thing. I was in the way.
Yeah,
I was in
even
the way.
now.
I was trying to tell him what to do.
Yes.
And it didn't make any sense.
It didn't, because we don't know everything. That goes back to be teachable, right? Because we were like, well, you got to know the will of God. And I'm like, well, yeah, but you're not the only one in the picture. Man. Right? We want to know the will of God, but it's not just us. Our lives don't just affect us. So what's God's will for the person or the people that we're going to meet, we're going to help? But if we just box them into just the will of my life, me, we kind of miss out on that. And we have to give them time. And I also believe, like, if you're teachable with time and you have the spirit of gratitude and understanding, you begin to see God moving. Right? Oh, yeah. You begin to see his work. And you look at things from a different perspective. Look, I'm a perspective shifter, man. Mm-hmm. You have a conversation with me, I'm going to change your perspective about something.
There you go. Okay? You just changed mine. I was like, whoop.
It don't take long, okay? You may call that suddenly. It's going to take some time. But like Solomon, you know, we all grew. We grew in wisdom with time. Even Jesus, with time, you know, he said he grew. Okay. And that takes time. And so I'm like, we have to take God out of the box. We have to give him time to move in our lives. And we have to give him time to move in other people's lives that are effective. Right. Because sometimes we think, well, I'm ready. I'm obedient. I'm ready to move. But you're not the only piece in the puzzle. So we have to give people time. And in that time, we could be showing gratitude, right? Yeah. And that speeds up the process, not really physically, but mentally. It doesn't seem so long when you have a spirit of gratitude, when you're thankful for things. Right?
Oh, yeah. So, that's deep. I'm all right.
Oh, so man. Those are my 3. I listen, when I tell you it's a moment with Michelle, I like to take a moment because I want you to think about it. I want you to be able to repeat it. I want you to go back to it. I don't want it to be so much where you're overwhelmed. You know, I want you to be able to
Well,
think on these things.
this is like, but my thing is I live it, but to hear it audibly articulated in a way, I guess I'm just like that person to hear it. I'm like, all right, now Jackie, you need to write your teachable, what you prayed for, and make sure you get your time. I need to put it on a sticky note, slap that up on the mirror, just to be
Yes.
reflective in my self-care time. I'm big on my self-care. And I
Yes.
just
Me
think about,
too.
I'm thinking about high school. I'm a high school coach. I remember she told me to do a relay, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. Fear. It was fear.
Yeah.
And I was on varsity, and she put me on JV after that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the fastest person on. She like demoted me.
What?
And then, so I was demoted for half of the season, for real. And I just said, why did you do that? She says, because you weren't being teachable. And I know that it was fear that got in your way. It wasn't, she's like, you let somebody else's thoughts get in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next time she asked me was like 2 months later, like I was on JV. And then she said, run it. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I was totally fine. The same teams. We ended up winning the relay. I was the anchor and the relay. And she said, see, you had it in you all the time, but you weren't being teachable. And I'm like, yeah, but you've been on JV for like 2 months. Like, you hurt my little feelings.
Yes.
15. But I think about that now. I was like, I was praying to be on varsity. I got on varsity. Then I had the opportunity. And I just straight up didn't do it.
Yeah.
And then I ended up having time on JV, being the fastest person. Any people used to say, how'd you get demoted? Like, all the people from the other teams were laughing. And I'm just like, wow, all of those steps, even in just that scenario at 15, now I'm 33. So that's what I'm thinking about. That's why I'm like, man, this is deep.
Yeah.
We do it. And we don't even realize. We pray for something, it's right there, we don't take it. Or we have a business idea and we don't take it when people are right there. Or we have people on our network that are encouraging us to do something, and we're just like, no, that ain't gonna work. I ain't gonna do that right now. And we talk ourselves out of what we always wanted to do.
Exactly. And he sent the people, you know, like the prayers have been answered. You know, if we're open to, we got to learn something new. And you know, that scripture is like, I'm doing a new thing. Okay, well, if you know everything, right? How can it be a new thing? If you know everything, like, no, you obviously don't know. That's why you're here and you need to be there, right? So we do have to do that. And we have to understand that it does take time. And in that process of time, we should be learning something new. What are you learning? When you look back at your life, you just accomplished a bunch of things, but you can't even say what your steps were.
Oh, yeah. The blueprint to get there, the steps.
You don't know the blueprint, so who are you going to help? Or were you just thinking about getting yourself there?
Yeah, but my thing is that there's steps to get there. That's why journaling and writing stuff down and all that is important, because if someone said, how did you get there? You don't be look back like, I don't know.
I don't know. I was just thinking about myself. I wanted to get there.
Hey, and I'm here. Now I can't help you get here because I didn't think about it. I didn't write it down.
Right.
So we're going to help people get the steps. So you just told us those 3 steps, but I want them to take this a step further to follow you. How are these people going to follow you, like you, stalk you? I'm just playing. Cyber stalk. Get that golden godly nuggets every day. But how are you on Instagram, Facebook? Tell them where to find you.
I am. Okay, well, you can definitely go to my website. I think you'll get a little bit more information on me. It's www.IamMichelleA.com. That's IamMichelleA.com, because my name is so popular, you know, but you can find me there, Michelle A. Okay. I'm on YouTube as well, too. I'm Coach Michelle A. on YouTube. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I'm Miss Michelle Thomas. And so I'll also give you the link so we can put it in there so you can reach me. Hit the consultation link. I'm also a life coach. And so I love helping people. I know the steps that it takes, and I know it takes time. I am not a quick person. So if you're looking for a quick fix, that's not something I can do. That's not something I can promise you. It's just not. If you want to do it and do it right, then it's going to take some time. Okay. And so that's the kind of person I am. I'm going to take my time. We're going to work through those processes. We're going to get you those answers that you've been looking for. And in fact, you're going to do it yourself. right?
There you
You're
go.
going to be able to answer those questions. You're going to be able to see it. Like you said, it's in you all along. Sometimes you just need someone to help you bring it out, right? Someone to ask you the questions, someone to give you a different perspective on a thing. Like your whole life changes when your perspective changes. It really does. Life doesn't seem so bad, right?
I'm always like, people like, you're always smiling and laughing. I'm like, because I remember a time of sadness and when I was in that spot and I stayed there and what it did to me. So people are like, oh, something bad just happened. I'm like, yep, but I can't stay there. And hey, I look at my daughter, she's laughing, and we just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
But like that perspective change, we just can't stay there. You can give your, I set a timer now, 15 minutes. I give myself 15 minutes to wallow in that pity. And then I'm like, the timer's up. It's time to get moving. Got to pick up.
That's right. I'm like, give yourself time to process what you're feeling, what you're going through. And I do the same thing too. I don't suppress things anymore. I used to be a habitual offender of suppressing what's going on in my life. But I'm like, look, I give it some time. Okay. I'm like, I'm going to process it. I'm actually going to speak it out loud, what my fears are, right? What I don't want to do, why I don't want to do it. And then the reason behind it, I'm just going to give it all out there. And then boom, 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 shoot them down. Okay?
Right.
I'll put all these
and it's like,
and then shoot them down.
It just comes down. And it's, you know, it's just like when you're at church, we used to sing a song, when the prayers go up, the blessings come down.
Yes,
And I used to be singing it. I was like little. And now I'm like, man, that is so true.
It is. It is.
Because, I mean, we cast those cares out. But you guys, if you're not following Michelle, I am Michelle. Yeah, you got to make sure.
I am Michelle A. All right, look for me. I am MichelleA.com.
And her YouTube videos, she goes even more in depth in this stuff. I'm being blessed with her being on here. Yes. Thank you for blessing us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And we're gonna drop them links below.
Yes.
So you guys like and follow. Don't just take these nuggets and not develop them. Make sure you follow her and do it.
Yes. Thank you, Jackie, so much for having me. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. All right. Thank you.
You guys have a blessed night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.